At the very basic level, some lines are very steep, some lines are steep but not so steep, some lines are kind of flat and not that steep at all, and some lines are totally flat and have no slope. Some lines are perfectly perpendicular, perfectly vertical, and some lines are, these are all positive lines, and some lines are kind of negative, they go backwards. If you're ever considering whether a line is positive or negative, you start on the left and you kind of walk to the right. And if it's going uphill, like these ones, that's vertical. But this one would be positive. This one here would be positive slope. This would be positive slope. This would be positive. That's a negative. That's a neutral slope. The slope would be 0 because there's no slope. Perfectly flat. These would be negative. The red ones would all be negative. Or that's supposed to be red. Okay? So the black ones are kind of positive. This one here is a bit different because it's totally vertical. This one is different because it's totally flat. We'll talk about those in a little bit. Okay, so to work out the slope of a line, what makes it steeper is if there's more high bits, if the vertical change is bigger than the horizontal change, it becomes steeper. So the equation is equal to the rise over the run, the rise divided by the run, where this bit here is the rise, and in that case there'd be 3 of them, and this bit here is the run. And all you have to do in this case, if you're shown a diagram, you just have to count the number of squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares is the run and 3 squares is the rise. So this equation here is going to be 3 over 6, which is equal to a half. That's a positive half. Sometimes you're not given a nice diagram with boxes on it that you can count, and you've got to work it out yourself, in which case you use the equation y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so that's your x2, y2 coordinate, and this one down here is your x1, y1 coordinate. And you plug the values in and you get your slope. Okay, next one. Okay, press pause on the video and then see if you can get these right, and then I'll show you the answers in a moment. So press pause and then you do the answers. Okay, so A is equal to, you can count 1, 2, 3 down and 2 across. So that's equal to 3 over 2. B is equal to, there are 2 down and 2 across. And that's equal to 2 over 1. Sorry, 2 over 2. 2 over 2. And that's equal to 1. C is equal to, the rise is 1 and the run is 3. So C is equal to 1 over 3. And you notice the smaller the number gets, the less steep it is. Now D is a negative one. D is a negative slope, but the rise is still 2 and the run is still 2. So it's 2 over 2, but it's minus. So D is equal to minus 2 over 2. That's equal to minus 1. Now, often you won't, when you're given these questions, you may not be given ones with the little green bits on the bottom here and the dots to sort of show you the rise and run. You'll be shown something like the line I've just drawn in now, and it's up to you to identify what the rise over the run is, and you do it by counting the number of boxes. But you can't do it, for example, at this point, because you need to find out where it crosses an intersection. So a good point seems to be here. That's one point it crosses, and now as I move up the line, there's another point there. So this particular line, now that I've drawn it, has a rise of 3 and a run of 2. So the slope of this line is equal to E. We'll call this line E. E is equal to minus 3 over 2. Sometimes you're not given an actual picture, you're just given 2 points on a line, and you need to be able to work out the slope of it. So the equation is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And if I pick, say, this first question, I can let 3,1 be x1, y1, and the point 5,3 be x2, y2. So I just plug those into my equation. So if I'm looking at part 1, y2 minus y1 is going to give me 3 minus 1 divided by x2 minus x1 is 5 minus 3. And that's going to give me 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. So that equation is 1. Let's have a look at another one. Let's pick one with some minuses in it. Let's pick number 4 here. So we'll say this is equal to x1, y1 and x2, y2. And let's work out the slope of that. So the equation is the same. So I'm going to have y2, which is minus 4 minus 0. So minus 4 minus 0. That's y2 minus y1 over x2, which is minus 1, minus 3. That's going to give me minus 4 over minus 4, and that's equal to plus 1 as well. So sometimes you have to plug the numbers into your equations, you don't have the picture. Okay, next. We can see that both of these slopes are parallel to each other. Both of these lines are parallel to each other. The line A has a slope of 3 over 2 and line B has 3 over 2. So any two lines which are parallel to each other will have the same slope. So for example, these two lines would have, the same slope. It won't be 3 over 2, but they'll have the same slope. If they're parallel, the slope will be the same. Next one, perpendicular. These two lines are perpendicular. Perpendicular means that there's a 90-degree angle between the two lines. And the slope of the first one, line A, is equal to 3 over 2, and line B, the slope of that is equal to minus 2 over 3. You'll notice that one slope is minus the reciprocal of the other. So one is equal to 3 over 2. The reciprocal means you turn it upside down, which is 2 over 3, and you make it minus. So it's minus the reciprocal of the other. Notice also that when you multiply them together, you multiply the two slopes, you get minus 1. So for example, if I tell you that one slope is 3 over 4, the perpendicular slope of that, the line that's perpendicular to that one, will have a slope of minus 4 over 3, which is the negative or the minus the reciprocal of it. Okay, if I said to you that one line was equal to, the slope of it was equal to 5 over 6, well then the perpendicular slope, the slope of a line that's perpendicular, would be equal to minus 6 over 5, minus the reciprocal of it. Okay, the examples then. Pause the video, try to write down the slope of any line that's perpendicular, and then press play to see if you've got the right answer. Okay, so the slope of the first one, the perpendicular line, is going to be minus 3 over 2. This one is going to be minus 5 over 4. This one is going to be 4 over 3, because it's already negative, so when we make it a negative, negative by negative gives me a plus. This one's going to be 5 over 2, and this one's going to be 2 over 1, which is just 2. So the blue ones are the slopes of lines which are perpendicular to lines which have these slopes here in black. So these are perpendicular. Okay, thank you.